Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Scorsese to De Niro, Spike to Denzel, Coogler to Jordan, and from Jordan Peele to Daniel Kaluuya. Some filmmakers have managed to create masterpieces by putting the perfect person in front of the camera. This week, Michael and I take a look at movies from Nope to Get Out to the Black Panther series that puts a spotlight on special relationships between actors and directors. Welcome to the Director's Chair. I'm Val the Voice Johnson, and this is Interludes. Interludes, a pure Lighthouse production. This episode is brought to you by the Riddles Clean Comedy Virtual Show. Find out more on our website, linktr.ee/Pure Light Media. And now, all the way live from the south side of Chicago, give it up for your host, Val the Voice Johnson.
Did you know that the very first assembly of photographs to create a motion picture was a 2-second clip of a black man on a horse? And that man is my great-great-grandfather.
Great.
There's another great-grandfather.
The first image, the idea that the first image on film is of a black man on a horse, riding a horse to show motion, yet we don't know for sure who that black man is amazing. And it just goes in another way to point out how movies have long ignored, rejected, and written us out, whitewashed us out of history. And I love the fact that Jordan Peele starts with that idea in the very beginning of his latest masterpiece called Nope.
The wonderful thing about I like when filmmakers can pretty much use the same actors and just vibe and they get it. This deadpanness that Daniel Kaluuya plays as the brother trying to maintain this ranch. I love Keith David. He shows up, we see him.
We hear him most importantly.
We hear him most importantly, right.
The voice.
I love the voice because he's done he's done a whole bunch of voiceover work. So
he is the king of voiceovers. Yes, he's in animation and all documentary forms. He is the king. James Earl Jones. I know everybody loves his voice, but Keith David is the voice you recognize. He's the one that people go to.
Yeah. So I was just really one of the reasons why I wanted to do a talk about filmmaking, and especially great filmmakers that love to use the same actors and sometimes in some cases the same cinematographers. They surround themselves with the people that get their vision. And Nope has a vision. I love what you say. I did not know. I kind of figured it out that the first image of a first image on film was someone of color. We don't know that. And Jordan brings that to light. And who's to say that he's thinking, I want to make sure that I bring this out along with the horror. We'll get to that. Let's do some education. He took that with Daniel, very first masterpiece that he won the Oscar for. Why is that slipping my mind? The film
Get Out.
Oscar for Get Out.
Get out of here.
That was a film I refused to watch at first because I'm thinking I don't do horror. I love that the latest film from Jordan is called Nope because that's how he said. I named it that way because I know black people, when people think about aliens or something that's totally off keeler, it's like nope. And in fact, several times Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya say the word. And I love that.
Can we say why is it called Nope? Because Jordan, I met Jordan, who was speaking to me about the film, and then for whatever reason, we was developing, and I was like, "What's it called?" I just never asked him what it was called. He's like, nope. And I laughed for 30 seconds. Like, I was like, that is so funny, because he said that's the reaction that black people will have when they watch it. Like, they're like, nope. Nope.
So I'm so glad that we were able to kind of talk about this subject, because right now, the two biggest directors in Hollywood in terms of going to see their movies, in terms of critical acclaim and money, those people happen to be African American. They are Jordan Peele, who directed Get Out, some masterpiece movie. He also directed Us, as well as his latest Nope, which is #1 at the box office as we're recording this. But the other gentleman is Ryan Coogler. And Ryan Coogler has only he's only directed 3 films. And when you're talking about the relationship that the director has to the actor, this is something that we saw, Val, in kind of classic Hollywood, old school Hollywood. You would find a director, and you'd find a director who would pair up with an actor. And this is during the old system of Hollywood, where it's like, here's this person, here's this other person, and they are, they're working together because they have to, because this director is attached to the studio, this actor is attached to the studio. That's why for a long time, if we go back to the history of it briefly, you see John Ford and John Wayne working together, right? Mm-hmm. On 18 films, all these Westerns are, when you see John Wayne, pretty much John Ford directed that movie. From Stagecoach all the way to The Quiet Man and Donna Missouri, okay? If you're looking at a Jimmy Stewart movie and it's suspenseful, excuse me, it's a suspenseful movie,
right?
Something where you don't know what's going to happen, that's Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock went and got Jimmy Stewart and he put him in front of the camera, the same way that Steven Spielberg got Tom Hanks and stuck him in front of the camera for like Bridge of Spies and Catch Me If You Can and Saving Private Ryan. And you see kind of these kind of directors gravitating to actors who, in some way, some would say, are the director on the screen. They play the everyman. That the director has something to do with the vision of the film, and they kind of see themselves, and the actor is able to translate that director's vision through, their delivery, through their presence on the screen. So that's why you see in Nope, Jordan Peele and Daniel Kaluuya have this kind of chemistry. They have to, where there is trust there, that one knows what the other one wants, and they deliver that to the film. I don't think it is, not to overstate anything, but I don't think it's, just happenstance that when we're talking about Jordan Peele and the great movies that he's done, he's directed 3 movies, but the ones that stand out to us most are the 2 that star Daniel Kaluuya. There's a movie in the middle that's just pretty good, but it doesn't rise to the same standards of these last 2 with Daniel Kaluuya. And then with Jordan, with Michael B. Jordan, here's the thing that people, I think, kind of miss out. He's been in a lot of things. Yes, he's been in a lot of movies. He certainly has had his Q rating and exposure rise. But in terms of directing, Ryan Coogler has only directed movies that starred Michael B. Jordan. I had to go check that to make sure before I said it on this podcast. But
seriously,
he has only made movies that he's directed Michael B. Jordan. That is his muse. That is his guy. And as much as we certainly see in Chadwick Boseman carry that first Black Panther movie, don't underestimate the value of Michael B. Jordan's character in Killmonger in the first Black Panther movie. Ryan Coogler, who's from Oakland, of course, directed Fruitvale Station, which is a story out of Oakland, which starred Michael B. Jordan.
Right.
He
and
directed Creed in 2015, and that starred Michael B. Jordan.
Right.
And then he came back with Black Panther in 2018, who starred.
Well, he was
Jordan.
in the on.
And
He was in the. He was in the ensemble.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Are you kidding me? Are you gonna tell me Michael B. Jordan was in the ensemble?
I'm being funny. What I'm trying to say is
I don't know. Are you?
He wasn't Black Panther. He wasn't the lead actor. If we're gonna be really, he was the lead antagonist. He's the person that gave the push to the film. I like how you say that.
Valerie, did you watch the movie with Black people?
I watched the same movie of Black Panther like everyone else. I talked to many women.
They identified more with Killmonger than they did with Black Panther. Do you remember this conversation?
I remember always having that conversation, right? And
Killmonger was right.
Huh?
You don't remember those conversations where Killmonger's right? Bring that money to the hood. Why is Wakanda holding out on Oakland, holding out on the cities all across the U.S.? How come you're not spreading it around? Basically, people were echoing Killmonger's argument throughout that whole movie, especially his attitude toward colonialists.
Exactly.
And you gonna tell me? Okay, tell me he was in the ensemble?
Okay, well let me correct.
That's a 1A situation.
Okay, well let me go ahead and correct that. Now let me be extremely clear. Let me be extremely clear. Black Panther, literally, there's a lot of folks in Black Panther. I'm just gonna put it out there. There's a lot of people in Black Panther, and my thing is
a lot of people in every Marvel movie.
There's a lot of people in a lot of Marvel movies. My thing is that Ryan wrote an excellent antagonist to where you are able to say, no, he's a main character. The film is named Black Panther. The person who played Black Panther is Chadwick Boseman. He is the lead actor. Everybody else is there, and they're doing great things. I'm serious. They're doing great things. It's like if I was to go, let me stop. Here we go. Iron Man. I'll go to Iron Man. If we were to say, oh no, the only person that mattered is who is this? Robert Downey Jr. But if there's great writing, you're going to really go into and vibe with the antagonist. So I'm saying to you, no. Michael B. Jordan, he definitely led he definitely led his role on Black Panther. He was a perfect antagonist. We identified with him. That's excellent screenwriting. When you can write so well, if you can write that well, what was that?
That's excellent directing because
that's all that's two. That is. Okay.
As you pointed out, and I'm giving you credit, as you pointed out earlier, in this case, the director is also one of the screenwriters.
He is.
Why do you think we were able to identify with Killmonger so much? Because Ryan Coogler is able to identify with Michael B. Jordan that well. And he gave him a part that was strong, because he knew that he could do it based on the two previous movies that they worked together, which so happened to be the only two movies that Ryan Coogler ever directed.
Why do you love working with Michael Jordan so much? I mean, he was in Fruitvale.
Yeah, I work with Mike. Yeah, I work with Mike a lot. My first time working with Mike was because he's really talented. You know, Mike's an exceptional performer, man, and I would advise any filmmaker to hire him if you could find a role for him. And in this film particularly, we needed somebody who could stand toe to toe with Chadwick. Like the film was calling for that, and Chadwick is an exceptional actor. He's exceptionally gifted, and charismatic. So we needed somebody that had a different type of charisma, a different type of energy, but who you could believe, when they stand and have face-offs and close-up, you can believe that Chad might be in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Now, wait. I have to do a timeout. Now, I just did a little research.
Don't give me no shorts. I don't want to hear about his shorts.
Okay, well then he wrote and directed some other stuff.
I don't want to hear about shorts. I'm talking about real live movies. I'm talking about Fruitvale Station. I'm talking about Creed. If we start talking about Spike Lee, you're gonna tell me that his first actual film was We Cut Heads, and it was back when he was a student at NYU. Nobody cares. Okay. Spike's first movie was She's Gotta Have It. It wasn't we cut heads and then he did that and then he parlayed that into. Stop. This man has worked with one actor. This actor just so happens to be one of, so to speak, one of the better actors in Hollywood, and also one of the leading men, the few leading men that we have left in this new strain of Hollywood films. And that's
that we have left? That we have left? He's
Absolutely.
The only one?
He is one of the few who is a leading man who can actually bring people to the theater because he's in a movie. When you see his name in a movie, Michael B. Jordan's in that, people will likely go see that movie because he's in it. There are not a lot of people that do that, especially now post-COVID. Mm-hmm. This idea, I mean, it was greatly tested by, a film icon in Tom Cruise. If Tom Cruise comes out, remakes a movie that's like 40 years, done 40 years previously, and people go to see it because they want to see Tom Cruise.
He's an excellent actor.
He put people in seats, right?
Butts in
Marvel
seats.
Has been able to do that too, based on their name and their history. They've been able to put people in seats. Now, what's great about this, going full circle, is that Jordan Peele, based on the strength of Get Out, largely, and its star, who returns with him for Note, they were able to put people in seats in the movie theater post-COVID in the summer, a summer blockbuster. I mean, as you said, it's a horror movie, but it opened huge. Was it almost $5 million? Opening?
How much? How much was it?
It was like 45, right? So
okay.
40, 45, yeah.
Yeah. So my thing is that I'm the type of person that's been converted into, I will see a Jordan Peele film. I can't do horror. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
He's not horror.
He's suspense. So I'm not that
like Hitchcock.
Exactly. So
and just like Hitchcock had his Jimmy Stewart, Jordan Peele has his Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, which almost sounds like a drink, but yes, I love it. But whatever works. So
on screen delicious.
So we had talked about this a little bit before, because I love to always bring up Spike Lee anytime I can talk about this type of thing. I believe his muse for a good long while was what actor, Michael?
Well, I mean, there would have to be Denzel Washington. I mean, that's the one that we know. That's who he channeled and gave the historic role of Malcolm X, even though Denzel Washington, photo by photo, looks nothing like Malcolm X, but he was able to convey the energy, the thought, the idea, the presence of Malcolm X through that amazing film.
Yeah, there's other actors that I know that Spike likes to work with, but I know throughout Spike's film history, he's done 4 films with Denzel, and people are like, I thought it was just Malcolm X and Mo Better Blues. No, there's people forget about He Got Game, and then Inside Man was not a Spike Lee joint. It was a film that Denzel was able to bring Spike Lee on as a director.
And why would he do that?
Black Hollywood is small, and it's about relationships, and great relationships are forged with directors and actors, and depending on who you are and the power you have to put butts in seats, as a director, you need to be able to vibe with that and have those good relationships. A non-black director that I love his work is Christopher Nolan. He's had a way of working with actors and bonding with them where they can just bring things to life. Now, I'm leaving the Marvel universe and going to the Batman universe. I feel like that bond that Christopher Nolan and, why is his name slipping my mind?
You want to say Christian Bale?
I want to say Christian Bale, yes, because they did 3 films of The Dark Knight together. and I felt like that was done in unison. I love Inception. There's a lot of people that hate Inception, but there were actors in Inception that Christopher Nolan likes to use that have shown up in earlier works that he's done. So that it seems to be a vibe, and
more than Christian Bale. I mean, I think it's very easy on the surface to see the Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale kind of relationship there. The person that Christopher Nolan has worked with more than any other actor is Michael Caine. He's worked with Michael Caine over and over again. Of course, Michael Caine is Alfred through the Dark Knight series, but Michael Caine shows up in Inception. He shows up in Dunkirk. He shows up in these other films by Christopher Nolan. And I think that kind of speaks to this idea. Michael Caine, one of these, old school Hollywood actors who kind of commands this sort of known respect. There's an element of masculinity that Michael Caine has that's in reserve there. It's not so pronounced, it's not like a Vin Diesel or Dwayne Johnson in terms of his masculinity. But there's this kind of like presence that Michael Caine delivers that I think there's always a space there in a Christopher Nolan movie for that person. As well, Michael Caine was also in Tenet. So even there with a movie that starred, Washington's son, Denzel Washington's son, that
David Washington.
Right, you still have Michael Caine. You still have a Michael Caine there. So if we are, Val, the voice, if we are talking about actors and director relationships, you touched upon one with with Spike Lee and Denzel Washington. Certainly that was one that has certainly garnered a lot of awards, or at least Academy Award nominations. There are two others that come from another actor, another New York-based director, and that would be Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese is almost synonymous. When you hear Martin Scorsese's director something, you're like, yeah, but what's Robert De Niro do? What's he gonna do in the movie, right?
Even if he only has 2 lines, he gonna show up.
Right, you almost expect him to be cast in the movie. And there's a reason why, and that is because those two have made 10 movies together.
Ooh.
10 movies since 1973. In 1973, the first one, of course, was Mean Streets, which I still think is a underseen, undervalued movie. It's probably one of Scorsese's best movies. And it's one of his first in terms of a partnership with De Niro. And I think it's a partnership. And the other one is something that's coming out in 2022, later on in November. And I'll get to that one in just a second, because the other person that Scorsese has worked with almost as much, just a few films short of his work with De Niro, is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
Martin Scorsese and Leo have worked on 6 films together. 6 films. Going back to 2002 with Gangs of New York, where Leo has a smaller, part. I think we could argue over that, but I think it's a smaller part compared to where he is in The Departed or Wolf of Wall Street. And together, Scorsese's got both De Niro and DiCaprio in the same movie coming out in 2022 called Killers of the Flower Moon, which is this kind of Western. It's going to be released in November, which, you'll have to remember to see, because there's that other movie that's being released November 11th, 2022.
Yeah, and we'll be talking
Black Panther 2.
Yeah, it's and they're not even calling it Black Panther 2. I believe it premiered over the weekend. And Ryan Coogler, I watched a clip from Comic-Con, and Ryan Coogler talked about how Chadwick was sitting next to him, and none of the actors had seen the first cut of the first Black Panther, and how, Chadwick just grabbed his shoulder and was like, "Wow, like this is phenomenal." Looking at the trailer, and so with them showing I think they had African singers and African drummers and everyone come out. He's like, I feel Chadwick's hand on my shoulder, and I don't know, I got emotional. I watched another video that had people's reaction to the trailer, and this is something that is going to be a big deal. And I love the alliteration of the numbers. A lot of people are doing a film release on interesting dates. Nope was released 7/22/22. Like all these twos is in the date. And Wakanda Forever, the sequel to Black Panther, will be released November 11th, 2022. So all those alliteration of numbers, so it means something.
11, make a wish.
Make a wish. All those candles.
Right?
And the other I love that we've brought up a lot of male directors, but the one female director I want to bring up is Ava DuVernay. She's one of my favorites. I love that she has been a advocate for hiring and making sure that women directors are seen and hired. Some people have had some issues with her hiring predominantly all women for directing, which she's
that's
done
a great thing.
on Queen Sugar. I don't know why people have an issue with it, because I'm thinking,
I just question if she's a director.
What was that?
I just question if she's a director.
Okay. Well, my my thing is, I like that she's worked with some of my favorite actors throughout her career. One of my favorites is Omar Hardwick, of the Power series. This is well before Power. He did a wonderful film with her called I Will Follow. Kind of slow film, but she was getting her feet wet. And I'm gonna mispronounce his name, David Oyelowo.
Oh yeah.
Oyelowo, yes. And she's worked with him twice, Selma and another film that they did together.
She only did like a couple movies together. I mean, she's only directed a few movies. That's why I say, like, when we're talking about directing. I mean, in terms of film, she has directed a lot for television.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. And she's done very well. She's directed for Netflix, documentaries there. In terms of like movies, she's done, I mean, she did I Will Follow. Okay, I Will Follow, you mentioned that. Then she does Middle of Nowhere, Dave Aiello's in Middle of Nowhere.
And then he's also in
Selma. Which also stars David Aiello as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Excellent film. It really withstood the test of time. And then there was a mistake.
We're gonna mention the wrinkle. Okay, we're gonna mention the wrinkle.
Rip.
Okay.
She has not returned to movies since.
And you know what? It's okay, because the historic thing about her directing A Wrinkle in Time, next door to her, guess who was cutting? Guess who was cutting their film? Ryan Coogler, Black Panther. They said they cut their films across the way from each other. It was very interesting for them to have that shared history. And then, even though unfortunately that film did not do well, it was at the time one of the highest budgets given to an African-American woman director feature at the time for Wrinkle in Time. Now, unfortunately, it didn't do well. Okay. We'll take some people, we take an L for things. It's okay.
However, here's my point. And I'll come around. And there's a reason I mentioned it, because I know how much you like her. So I know that this is a little bit uncomfortable. But there's a reason for this. She should be able to do that. This is the problem. Okay, now, she should be able to do that. Have male directors made movies that bomb?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. A lot. Now, when it comes back around, do they probably get a smaller budget the next time? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they do.
Now, here's the thing. They get a next time. Ava DuVernay has been working kind of around film ever since that tragedy, in terms of the cinema tragedy. She's been doing TV, excellent. When They See Us, 13, all of these things, all the work, Queen Sugar, which is is still
phenomenal.
a really phenomenal television show. And with the idea of this rotation of female directors, many of color coming in and contributing to that show, amazing. Should she have, I don't know if she wants one. I don't know if she's waiting on the perfect project. I'm not sure what the deal is, but it does, I am saddened. That's why I'm saying that. I'm saddened at the fact that she hasn't come back yet. And I'm just fearful that it is one of those situations where it's gonna take a long time to get past that. That was a mistake with Disney. Disney owns like everything now, you know?
The mouse. The mouse.
Yeah. You mentioned that she was cutting a Wrinkle in Time across from
Ryan Coogler's with Black Panther.
Cut of, I mean, talk about a study in contrast in terms of the success of Black Panther and just the utter failure of A Wrinkle in Time. I mean, there's really no bigger contrast than that. Ryan Coogler here, he hasn't done a whole lot of projects since then, right? But as soon as Black Panther comes out, you're gonna see a list of movies that he has been involved in, working on. And to my point, Val, the voice, guess who stars in the next Ryan Coogler movie scheduled to come out after Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever?
Michael B. Jordan.
You're darn right, because they have a relationship. He has starred in every movie he's been in. So if you all are listening to this, I know you like to be surprised, and I don't have any special information that anybody else has, but do not be surprised if you see Michael B. Jordan in Wakanda Forever, either through a flashback or through some kind of trickery in terms of chronological timelines, because those two have a way of working together and making things a success, okay? So why wouldn't they work together? He'll figure out a way. He'll be in that movie. Promise, trust. Some way Michael B. Jordan will be in Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever! In terms of directors and the actors that are their muse, I can't think of any others. I know there's tons of other directors and
there's Quentin
actors.
Tarantino.
There's Quentin Tarantino, and who else? And who else?
Jackson.
I feel like Samuel L. Jackson has been in a lot of films with Spike too.
Yeah, but did you recall at one point they were sort of fighting over him? Do you remember this?
I remember that.
This was a few years back, but Samuel L. Jackson was in a Quentin Tarantino movie, and Spike, because Spike is a provocateur, he wants to make you think, and he says things just kind of like, make you think about it. He was the fact that the N-word is often featured in movies with Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of litters or peppers some of his movies with profanity, including that racial term.
Or the N-word.
Right. Now, in doing that, who steps in to defend Quentin Tarantino? Samuel L. Jackson. The bad, mother. He comes in and says, hey, look, this is what artists do. This is how that works. And in doing that, he kind of, in a way, talks about the fact that, he is in many of these movies that Mike is talking about, using some of these terms. He's the person that's saying them, You go back to Jackie Brown. You want to do a word count? You can.
It's too many. It's too many. It's too many.
Hey, go to the Django Unchained, which also features Samuel L. Jackson. A lot of them came out of Samuel L.'s mouth there. So I mean, I think that we can look at, and we do look at, as you mentioned, Samuel L. Jackson and Spike Lee. They're good friends. They're both Morehouse men. They had history together. But in terms of films, I don't know if you can put Samuel L. Jackson just with Spike Lee. I think he's better. I mean, come on.
I feel like
Jackie Brown. I mean, Django and the Hateful Eight. These are all Quentin Tarantino movies featuring Samuel L. Jackson.
Right. I just know that early, Tarantino wouldn't have known about a Samuel L. Jackson unless, because I think Spike put him in some of his earlier films. And let me be clear. Samuel L. Jackson, if I'm looking at this correct, as of where are we in 2022? He's done over 200 films. That's what I see listed. This is a little nuts. This is a little nuts in my mind. And in his 70s, he is now either going to get a Nick Fury series or film because of Marvel and his popularity in that realm. That's nuts.
And I love it because that means he's able to say, you know what, I really like that Walter Mosley book. Let's turn that into a series for Apple TV with my wife. My wife and I are going to we're going to fund this theater and we'll renovate it for young up and coming actors, actresses, directors, and people on the stage. He's got that Marvel money. He's got that Tarantino, Spike Lee swagger where he can do whatever he wants to do. And that's kind of how it came to be. I mean, he linked up with two of the biggest directors of the early 90s who are still continually turning out top films. So that means that he always has some place to work. And lately, Samuel L. Jackson has been with the Russo brothers. In terms of the Marvel movies, the Russo brothers are as a dynamic duo themselves, are really pushing film and action film. So I think between the movies with Tarantino, movies with Spike Lee, and the Russo brothers, Samuel L. Jackson has found his three sets of directors, and he's good.
There's been a history of American cinema, which is denigrated, defamed, belittled, dehumanized. It's documented. The Klan used Birth of a Nation to lynch black folks. As a filmmaker, it's not something to play with. It's going to take many decades to retell these stories. And I knew that one way that I could do something about this was to make films for a diverse audience, to show black people in all our glory, faults, warts, and whatnot.
But I hope that you guys enjoyed our chop it up regarding directors and their muse, their acting muse. The conversation continues between EP Michael Wamble and Val the Voice. For more of our fun outtakes from this week's episode, please visit our Interludes YouTube channel. Have you seen it? It's the weekly chat with EP Michael Wamble, Coach Tony, and Val the Voice Johnson. Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. Join us and other special guests as we break down the latest topics surrounding music, movies, and sports every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, live in the chat on our Interludes YouTube channel. Interludes. Original concept by Valerie Johnson. Written by Michael Wamble. Produced by Michael Wamble and Valerie Johnson. Original intro and outro music produced by Kendall Nesbitt. Interludes. A pure Lighthouse production. This episode is brought to you by the Riddles Clean Comedy Virtual Show featuring hosts Jury O'Neill, Donald Owens Jr., Michael Wamble, and Val the Voice Johnson. To purchase a ticket for download or information about our upcoming virtual screening, please visit our website, link tr.ee/Pure Light Media. To subscribe to our YouTube channel or join our Interludes Facebook group, visit the website linktr.ee/Pure Light Media.